Activate your divine magnetism. Miracles. Manifesting through sacred meditation for 7 days. In the heart of a quaint rural village where rolling hills whispered sacred secrets, Mary Johnson felt the tug of heaven's call. Yearning for miracles, she turned to the sacred meditation practice that promised divine transformation. Activate your divine magnetism. The announcement echoed in her mind like a siren beckoning her weary heart to a light-filled path. Days had blurred into silent prayers since her son, John, fell ill. Those once vibrant eyes dimmed like extinguished stars. Doctors, with their cold clinical words, offered her hope wrapped in despair. Yet Mary refused to let go. Fueled by faith, she found herself kneeling on the cool earth, hands open to the skies. "Please, Lord," she cried, tears cascading down her cheeks like offerings of love. That first night of sacred meditation unfolded in a dance of luminescent light. As she closed her eyes, the darkness flickered, revealing angels clothed in radiant glory. They sang melodies of hope that enveloped her soul, urging her to trust again. "Miracles are born of faith, Mary." Their whispered tones fluttered like butterflies, infusing her with a warmth she thought lost forever. Each passing day shone bright, yet shadows loomed. Mary felt the weight of doubt creeping into her spirit. The gentle voice of her husband, Peter, now tinged with skepticism, pulled at her heartstrings. "We need to be realistic, Mary," he urged one evening, weary eyes searching for rational solutions. The man who had once shared her faith now leaned towards science, leaving her feeling abandoned in a chasm of belief. Desperation drove her to explore worldly remedies. Herbs and teas cluttered their kitchen as she sought every natural cure known to humankind. Yet nothing altered John's condition. Every failed attempt chipped away at her spirit, leading to a breaking point. In that raw moment, Mary sank to her knees, freely weeping. "God, I need you. Please." And then, amidst her weeping, she felt it, a flicker of light igniting within her heart, as if heaven responded. The floor beneath her seemed to vibrate, and suddenly she felt a rush of warmth wash over her. Divine presence enveloped her, taking her breath away. It felt as if every prayer she'd ever uttered coalesced into a resounding yes. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the 7th day dawned, Mary felt an inexplicable stirring in her soul. The village gathered in the little chapel, the flicker of candlelight creating a sacred atmosphere, thick with prayer and anticipation. Father Thomas led the vigil, his voice a balm to weary hearts. "Today we unite for miracles," he proclaimed, each syllable echoing like a battle cry against despair. Tension hung in the world outside, yet in that chapel a stillness settled. Mary's heart raced, a drumbeat against the profound silence. Just as prayers intensified, something remarkable unfolded. The air crackled, and a wave of energy surged through the room. All eyes turned to John, who lay peaceful among the candles. Then the room gasped, his eyelids fluttered, revealing the glimmer of consciousness. As hope sparked throughout the assembly, disbelief painted faces in awe. John's first conscious breath became a beacon of miraculous possibility, rekindling a flame of faith long extinguished. Mary felt buoyed by a new reality, yet questions lingered. What awaited her beyond this miracle? What future trials would require her renewed faith? With the village rejoicing, uncertainty lingered in Mary's heart, leaving her yearning for guidance from the divine. Echoes of the unknown danced along her spine, whispering of wondrous journeys to come. Mary stood trapped in a moment that stretched like eternity. The chapel burst with joy, voices lifted in praise, yet her heart pulsed with questions. John stirred, a miracle unfolding before her eyes, yet shadows danced in the corners of her mind. What happens now? She wondered, glancing at Peter, whose face reflected a mixture of joy and skepticism. As the villagers embraced the gift of renewed life, Mary felt the stirring of another call, the call to serve. What if this miracle is not just for us? She pondered, a whisper fluttering into her consciousness. With every hug and cheer, she imagined the countless others who longed for a thread of hope. Days turned into nights filled with fervent prayer and unyielding meditation. Each time she closed her eyes, she was greeted by the celestial host once again, their radiant smiles encouraging her to remain steadfast. "The light within you is a beacon," they echoed, their voices wrapping around her like a warm blanket on a winter's night. "Let it shine, Mary." The village began to change too. Neighbors who had once turned away began to seek her out, eyes alight with hope. They confided in her, sharing burdens and dreams. Mary listened and prayed, her heart swelling with love for her community. One evening, Mary was in the garden, tending to the flowers that had begun to bloom since John's awakening. She whispered, "Thank you, Lord," as the sun dipped low, brushing the sky with hues of gold and crimson. Just then, she heard the soft rustle of footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw a young woman, Lily, standing shyly by the gate. "Heard you've been helping people," Lily said, her voice shaking. I need help too. My brother is sick." Compassion washed over Mary like a flood. She nodded, inviting Lily to sit with her. As they spoke, Mary felt the thrill of purpose take root in her heart. "Let's pray for him together," she suggested, feeling the divine energy ripple through her. As they bowed their heads, Mary envisioned the healing light pouring over the young boy that Lily spoke of, illuminating him with warmth and love. She felt a power surging through her, weaving itself into the words of her prayer. The atmosphere crackled with promise, the air thick with expectancy. After that evening, the village began to unite in prayer. They gathered in small circles under the stars, hands held tightly, hearts entwined in a tapestry of faith and hope. Each prayer offered became a thread binding them together, a shared journey toward miracles waiting to erupt. Mary learned that the essence of divine magnetism was found not only in personal belief, but in the collective spirit of the community. However, as joy mingled with newfound purpose, the specter of doubt still lingered. Whispers of skepticism arose, weaving their way into the fabric of their shared experiences. Some questioned whether this miracle would last, and whether their newfound faith would endure when the trials returned. Mary found herself standing at a crossroads, torn between confidence in the divine and the reality of her circumstances. The seeds of doubt took root in her mind like uninvited weeds murmuring in her ear. And yet, amidst the swirling uncertainty, she remembered the angel's words from her meditations. "Miracles are born of faith." A deep resolve took hold. She would not fold into despair. With courage kindling within her heart, Mary gathered the village for a day of sharing stories of faith, tales of struggle and triumph, of miracles both great and small. They would speak into the darkness, and with each word, push back against the shadows that threatened to engulf them. The sun began its ascent on the miracle day, painting the horizon with breathless anticipation. Mary's heart beat wild with love, trust, and an insatiable quest for understanding. Little did she know, the day would culminate in ways that would challenge her faith and redefine the notion of divine magnetism forever. What awaited her on this momentous day? Secrets of heaven were about to unfold. As the sun climbed higher, casting golden rays over the village, an air of anticipation enveloped the gathering. Mary could feel it gently pulling her heart, a sweet reminder of the miracles yet to be revealed. She looked around at the faces in the crowd, each filled with hope and curiosity, each a tapestry of stories untold. They gathered in the meadow, a lush expanse dotted with wildflowers. As the villagers took their places, Mary stepped forward, her heart racing. She felt divine energy surge within her, ready to spill over into words that would inspire and unite. "Welcome, dear friends," she began, her voice steady yet warm. "Today, we share our stories, our tribulations and our triumphs, for in our vulnerability lies the seeds of hope." A hush fell over the crowd as Mary invited the first storyteller to the front. It was an elder named Ruth. Her voice quivered, yet the strength of her faith resonated. "I lost my husband last autumn," she shared. "I felt swallowed by darkness. But in my grief, God spoke to me through the kindness of others. I learned that love never dies. It transforms." The villagers listened intently, murmurs of agreement rippling through them. One by one, they rose to share their own experiences, narratives of brokenness met by restoration and despair confronted by hope. Each voice joined the chorus of faith, creating a soothing symphony that echoed across the meadow. "Every struggle is an invitation," another voice rang out, a young man named David. "An invitation to discover the divine in our midst." His words sparked a flicker of laughter, illuminating smiles that chased shadows away. As Mary absorbed their testimonies, she felt the power of collective faith weaving its way through their stories. She realized that together, they were cultivating something much larger than themselves. This gathering was a holy space, a beacon of divine magnetism. Then, a shift in the atmosphere caught her attention. A chill danced through the air as a shadow fell over the meadow. The energy shifted. Fear crackled beneath the surface. Mary turned to see a figure approaching, its presence commanding attention. It was Nathaniel, known in the village as someone burdened with anger and doubt. "You speak of miracles," he called out, his voice tainted with resentment. "But what if they all abandon us when we need them most? What of the unanswered prayers? When will healing come for those in pain?" Gasps rippled through the crowd. Silence hung heavy, the tension palpable. Mary's heart thudded in her chest. She had seen the struggle in Nathaniel's heart before. She understood that doubt could sometimes appear louder than faith. With a deep breath, she met his gaze. "Nathaniel, I understand what you're feeling. We've all wrestled with the shadows of disbelief, especially in moments of sorrow. But remember, even the strongest storms pass. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It's planting flowers in the midst of that storm." Nathaniel's eyes softened, just for an instant. Mary felt a flicker of hope stir within her. Could this be his moment to transform? The crowd leaned closer, caught in the spell of the unfolding miracle. The dance between faith and doubt was alive, palpable. Mary knew that this moment was not just for Nathaniel, but for everyone gathered, a reflection of the spiritual journey they all shared. As the sunlight broke through the clouds, bathing the meadow in a warm glow, a profound stillness settled among them. Mary felt a tingle race down her spine, the unmistakable promise that something divine was on the horizon. "Let's continue praying in circles, our faith surrounding every doubt," she encouraged. "Let's invite our burdens into the light together. Perhaps together we could witness miracles more extraordinary than we ever dared to dream." Eyes sparkled with renewed hope. The weight of Nathaniel's doubts began to lift. With hearts aligned in purpose, the villagers formed small circles under the now brilliant sun, hands clasped in prayer. Mary sank to her knees in gratitude, her spirit soaring. Whatever awaited them, she felt ready to embrace the secrets of heaven unfolding before her. But under the surface, she felt the stirrings of more profound trials. Just as the sun breaks through dark clouds, what new challenges would these revelations bring? Divine mysteries lingered on the horizon. As the villagers formed their circles, a sense of togetherness blossomed in the meadow. The sunlight, now fully unshackled from the clouds, bathed them in warmth, wrapping them in a divine embrace. Mary took a moment, watching the swirling faces, each one radiating a light that complemented the sun's glow. their hands entwined, hearts united. It felt like a glimpse of heaven on earth. The first whispers began as they stood in prayer. Mary closed her eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the energy pulsating through the group. Each heartbeat synchronized, echoing an ancient rhythm of faith and resilience. She sensed the delicate balance of vulnerability and strength around her. They were all planting seeds of hope in a garden that had once felt barren. "Let us speak our burdens." A soothing voice rose from the group, breaking the meditative silence. It was Ruth again, her heart laid bare. "What weighs us down, let us lift up. My husband's absence still hurts, and while I'm grateful for the lessons, I long for peace." In that moment, the air thickened with purpose. Each word, every confession, acted like rain upon the seeds. One by one, others stepped forward with their needs, the lost jobs, sick children, broken relationships. They shared their vulnerabilities without fear, knowing they were wrapped in the safety of love. Mary's heart fluttered. This was no ordinary prayer gathering. This felt like sacred alchemy, transforming pain into purpose. The air became electric, thick with anticipation. Each prayer rose like incense, seeking the heavens above. But as tears shimmered in the corners of eyes and heartfelt cries filled the meadow, Mary noticed Nathaniel still standing apart, his arms folded, wrestling with an unseen battle. How can they find healing in this, she thought. With a gentle nudge from within, she felt compelled to reach out to him. "Nathaniel," she called softly, her voice cutting through the fog of doubt. "Will you join us? Your burdens are as valuable as ours. We all long for answers." His gaze was a stormy sea at first, conflicted and fierce. But when he looked at her, something within him seemed to crack, just a little. "I don't know how to let this pain go," he confessed, his words cracking like thunder. Mary saw the flicker of vulnerability in his eyes and knew this was a moment of truth. "Even doubt can be a channel for growth. Let's carry it together," she encouraged. "Let faith and prayer be your anchor. You don't have to bear the weight alone." Gradually, he unfolded his arms, stepping toward the group. A collective intake of breath echoed through those gathered. Hope surged anew. A spark flickered a little brighter. "Let's pray for Nathaniel," David exclaimed, raising his voice. "Let's encircle him with our love." As they turned to Nathaniel, hands began to stretch outward in support. There, in that moment, Mary felt the atmosphere shift. The clouds of fear and resentment began to part, revealing radiant light. This was not just the sun breaking through. It was a dawn of spiritual awakening. Together, they prayed, each word a balm, every whisper a testimony to shared struggles. As Nathaniel closed his eyes, a warmth enveloped him, as if divine hands were cradling his weary heart. Mary's spirit soared. She felt the miracles unfolding, calculated by a divine clock. But this peace was also peppered with uncertainty. What other struggles lie ahead, she wondered, sensing the undercurrents of challenges yet unexplored. It was then a gentle breeze began to swirl around them, seemingly carrying whispers from the heavens. And in the distance, mountains cast long shadows, hinting at obstacles to come. As hope mingled with mystery, Mary stood at the precipice of change. Another prayer, another revelation awaited. What hidden truths would arise from the shadows, calling the villagers towards divine transformation? The warmth of the sun sank deeper into the hearts of the villagers as they continued to pray for Nathaniel. Mary felt a bubbling sense of expectancy among them, as if they were on the brink of something miraculous. The whispers of their faith mingled with the soft rustle of the trees, creating a symphony of hope. "I can feel it," one woman murmured, her voice trembling with conviction. "Something is changing. God is moving." Mary looked around, noticing nods of agreement, eyes sparkling with a mix of determination and shared vulnerability. It was contagious. Their collective faith infused the atmosphere, lifting any weight that still clung to their spirits. Nathaniel, who had initially stood isolated in pain, was now embraced by warm waves of love and support. "Remember, Nathaniel," David said, voice steady yet tender. "Sometimes the deepest struggles lead to the greatest revelations. Let's surrender our worries together." Mary watched as Nathaniel took a slow breath, his chest rising and falling like the tides. She could see the heaviness in his shoulders begin to lift. As he opened his eyes, they glistened with unshed tears. "What if I've anchored myself too long in this pain? What if healing is around the corner?" He pondered aloud, his voice barely holding onto a thread of doubt. "Yes!" Mary exclaimed, a spark igniting within her. "Let's aim for that corner together. Let's call for a breakthrough." "Breakthrough," the villagers echoed, an affirmation rising like a chorus. What was once a solitary wrestling with darkness transformed into a united cry for liberation. The mountains in the distance seemed to loom larger, yet they looked different on this day. The shadows less menacing, almost resembling paths leading to higher ground. The group's faith was forging new trails, and Mary could feel the heartbeats around her resonating like a drum, striking a powerful rhythm of expectancy. A gentle wind picked up, swirling through the circle like the spirit itself. It sent ripples of laughter and joy darting among them, igniting the air with warmth. Mary felt the divine within that breeze, sensing it carrying messages of encouragement. "Let's meditate on what we wish to manifest," she called out, inspired. As the villagers took a moment for reflection, Mary encouraged each person to close their eyes once more. Visualize the burdens you wish to lift. Imagine them dissolving into light. In the stillness, visions of healing manifested. A mother pictured her child laughing, healthy and strong. A father saw his family reunited around a table, filled with love again. Nathaniel, caught in the moment, envisioned a future freed from sorrow, a future filled with purpose and divine connection. Suddenly, the echoes of their meditations intertwined, forming an invisible bond that pulsed with potential. Each breath amplified the sense of purpose. Mary smiled as she marveled at how their hearts were blending, crafting a powerful tapestry of hope. This was sacred work. But as she felt the soaring spirit among them, a flicker of unease crossed her mind. What else lingered in the shadows? What lessons were yet to unfold amid their newfound faith? The mountains stood tall in the background, silent witnesses to their unfolding journey. Mary could not shake the thought that challenges would soon surface, testing the bond they were creating. "Together we will face whatever comes," she whispered under her breath, her heart steadying. As bliss washed over them, the air thickened with promise, yet also mystery. Could they truly align their collective faith to magnetic strength capable of manifesting miracles? And then, from where the shadow met the light, a distant rumble echoed through the meadow. What awaited them, and how would they manage to stand firm against the trials that lay ahead? The rumble faded into a momentary hush. An electric charge hung in the air, raising goosebumps on the backs of necks. Mary opened her eyes, her heartbeat synchronizing with the stillness. The villagers remained silent, ears pricked for the sound of divine intervention. "What was that?" whispered a teenager, glancing from one face to another. "Just a sign of something greater moving," said an older man, the lines on his face deepening with sacred wisdom. "Let's not confuse the noise. Let it guide us into deeper prayer." Mary felt a shiver of anticipation run through her. Was it a warning or a beckoning? She sensed the ground shifting beneath their feet. A deeper level of faith was about to be tested. They had gathered here not only for Nathaniel, but for the divine connection that intertwined them all as a community. "Let's not just stand here in fear," Mary called out, her voice rising to break the tense atmosphere. "We will respond with love. Let's call upon his name, every one of us." "Jesus!" echoed a voice from the crowd, strong and resonant. "Jesus!" they all repeated, louder this time, a chant lifting like smoke from a sacred fire, rising towards the heavens. Mary closed her eyes again, feeling the warmth of their collective cries wrap around her like an embrace. She could feel their devotion fueling the air, lifting their spirits, igniting their faith. This was about more than just Nathaniel. It was a call to awaken a deeper reality within each of them, a reflection of their shared journey through battles fought in the depths of despair. "Visualize light," she whispered. "Think of the burdens turning to bright sparks, dissolving into the air, every fear, every shadow. Let them go. Carry only joy." In that moment, visions began to flash through Mary's mind. She saw the villagers, one by one, engulfed in vibrant light, their faces alight with joy, hearts lifted like fluttering doves. Doubt was chased away as faith surged like a river breaking through a dam. It was more than a feeling. It was an awakening. Yet amid the upliftment, uncertainty flickered at the edges. Was their newfound strength enough? Would it withstand the challenges that thundered in the distance? Nathaniel's face, filled with a blend of hope and fear, loomed in her thoughts. What would happen to him if the storm descended? "Let's gather in a circle," she urged, feeling a sense of urgency pulse through her. "United, we can command the energy of our faith. Let our collective voices rise." As they formed a tighter circle, elbows brushing, they began to chant together. Words of praise, whispers of healing, prayers for sustenance flowed like a gentle stream, each voice a note in the divine melody. Mary could feel the sound building around them, creating a protective barrier, a fortress of belief against the coming challenge. But in the midst of their fervent devotion, the ground beneath them shuddered again. A deeper, more menacing rumble reverberated through the meadow. The mountains moaned in response, a testament to the activities of unseen forces, both light and dark. Mary gasped, her eyes snapping open. "What is this? Can anyone sense it?" she asked, eyebrows knitting in concern. "It feels weighty," David replied cautiously, his brow creased. "As if something is poised to break free, or break us." The atmosphere thickened with uncertainty, yet divine energy coursed through them all. Each villager appeared grounded, but Mary felt the pull of the dawn of transformation. It was not just about Nathaniel now, it had transformed into a collective awakening, spanning far beyond what they imagined. With the air heavy with both fear and promise, Mary stood resolute. She knew this was the moment of vulnerability. Would their faith prevail? Were they prepared for what lay ahead? As the humming in her spirit grew louder with trembling anticipation, she whispered, "Whatever it takes, we will stand together." And then, from somewhere beyond the shadow and the light, a voice boomed, resonating powerfully, leaving them all breathless. What was it saying? What passage awaited them on this journey? The voice lingered, echoing through the hearts of the villagers. It carried a depth that stirred something deep within, as if it was reminding them of forgotten promises. Mary felt a warmth wash over her, pushing away the cold grip of uncertainty. "Do not fear. I am with you," it whispered again, a soft reassurance amidst the tumult. "Who speaks?" someone called out, voices shaking ever so slightly but rising with simultaneous courage. Mary looked around. Each face mirrored her concern and hope, searching for answers in the unknown. The rumble resounded once more, like thunder rolling through soft clouds. "Faith calls for action," the voice declared, leaving no room for doubt. "Come forth, each of you. Step into the light of your belief." Mary sensed a shift, an urging from the spirit that beckoned her to act. "Let us respond," she shouted, determination threading through her words. She stepped forward into the center of the circle, her heart thumping in rhythm with the pounding earth. "We are not just waiting for a miracle. We will be the miracle." Encouragement flowed from her lips like a river. "Join me. We will embody the very love that is our strength." The villagers began to shift, one by one stepping into the central space created by their gathering. They moved forward, drawn by a magnetic pull, a divine invitation to rise and unite. Hand in hand, they formed a chain of faith, their fingers intertwined, symbolizing their bond. Together, they began to sway gently, chanting, "We believe, we believe, we believe," with each repetition feeling more powerful, more electrifying. The sound reverberated back from the mountains, a thunderous affirmation of their unity. Suddenly, the winds shifted, swirling in a dance around them, whispering secrets of hope and renewal. Mary opened her eyes and lifted her face to the sky, feeling the very fabric of the universe alight with a shared energy, a divine connection that transcended their earthly struggles. They were creating a tangible force, pushing back against the storm looming nearby. "Let the sacred waters of His grace flow among us," Mary invoked, her voice rising above the chanting. "May His Spirit cleanse our fears and ignite our love." A wave of warmth rolled through the group. Faces glowed, tears sparking joy, and hearts lifted as an unmistakable presence enveloped them. The weight in the air transformed, turning into a sweet fragrance of peace. The energy buzzed around, as if the heavens were joining in their sacred communion. Despite the euphoria, dark clouds loomed on the horizon, starkly contrasting the light they'd created. Yet Mary knew they had awakened a divine power within, one that wouldn't easily be shaken. "Press on, beloved ones," she prompted, her heart resolute. "We stand at the threshold of transformation, of—" Through their energized chants, Mary could feel the presence of angels brushing against them, spirits aligned with their mission. What if light can pierce through this darkness, she wondered. What if their faith had the ability to rewrite the fate set before them? It was more than just hope. It became a mission, a calling. In that sacred moment, they all grasped the looming truth. Transformation was in their hands. "Nathaniel needs us," a voice from the circle reminded. And with that, a hushed agreement swept through them, sealing their newfound purpose. But just as certainty dawned, a more menacing rumble rolled through the air once again. It wasn't just the ground. It was as if the very fabric of their reality was testing them. Was this the storm they feared? Raising her voice yet again, Mary declared, "Together, we will face whatever comes. This is only the beginning." Would their emerging faith withstand the trials ahead? In the echo of her words, the heavens seemed to respond, the air charged with unmanifested potential. Something monumental was on the verge of breaking free. The village held its breath, caught between fear and possibility, waiting for the next sign. And then, from within the dark clouds, a brilliant flash of light broke through, illuminating the meadow. What was about to unfold? Would they witness the divine breakthrough they yearned for? As the radiance burst forth, casting golden rays across the meadow, hearts soared. Mary squinted against the glare, feeling its warmth wrap around her like a protective cloak. The villagers shared curious glances, excitement tinged with trepidation. "What is happening?" a voice asked, trembling slightly in the uncertainty. Mary felt it. A pull, a beckoning, as if the light itself was inviting them to embrace the promise hidden within. "The light shows us the way. We must reach for it," she encouraged, her pulse quickening with each word. One by one, bright eyes sought the sky, filled with a mixture of awe and concern. They could feel something shifting, a sacred energy that stirred the air around them. The clouds writhed, yet the light broke through like hope breaking through despair, guiding them onward. "Together, let us step into this light." As they advanced, their feet moved with newfound assurance. The grass beneath was no longer just soaked in rain, but bursting with life, a reminder that even the smallest of seeds could break through darkness. There was beauty in struggle, they realized, and purpose in their determination. Mary extended her arms toward the light, guiding the villagers to do the same. "Raise your arms, feel the energy, let it flow through us." The combined gesture transformed the meadow into a sacred space, where every individual became a vessel of divine love. "Feel his presence," she cried out. "Breathe deep. Let his spirit cleanse our doubts." As they inhaled, a wind swirled around them, lifting their spirits higher. Each breath drew in warmth and joy. Each exhale released fears and worries. "Do you feel it?" a woman shouted, her eyes wide with wonder. The crowd responded with a deafening, "Yes!" Power surged as they became a unified force, embracing the profound connection that encapsulated them. In that moment, the brilliant light intensified. Mary felt it deep within, a revelation stirring. This is our miracle. This is what we've been waiting for. Not outside ourselves, but within, deep in our faith. It's always been here. The chorus of voices rang out again, now with added fervor. "We believe, we believe, we believe." The repetition grew stronger. Each declaration was a battle cry against the encroaching darkness. The clouds shifted, dark swirling remnants breaking apart like shrapnel under the power of their combined faith. Mary caught sight of a figure manifesting at the center of the light. It was ethereal, almost like a whisper sculpted into a form. "Who are you?" she shouted, driven by both courage and curiosity. The presence radiated warmth and love, as if the very essence of grace was flowing through it. The figure spoke, words resonating deeper than sound. "I am the promise of your faith. I arise where hope is alive." The villagers gasped, hearts pounding. This was no mere vision. It felt real, tangible, as if they could reach out and touch the source of their promise. But just as the light enveloped them, a sudden darkness spilled from the edges of the clouds, threatening to snuff out the glow they had summoned. "Stand firm," Mary urged, feeling the fear rise again. "We have invoked this power. We will not let it slip away." Lifting their voices higher, the villagers concentrated on their unity. The very fabric of their reality was being challenged. But within that very struggle, Mary found a deep-rooted resolve. She looked to the figure. "What do we do now? How do we stand against this?" The response came softly but firmly. "The strongest light is birthed from the deepest shadows. It is in your hands. The source flows where faith flourishes." With that revelation settled deeply in their hearts, the air crackled with possibilities. Yet, an unresolved question lingered. Would their collective faith be enough to hold back the darkness? In that charged silence, another flash of light burst forth, illuminating a path of choices stretching before them. What would their next step be? Would they welcome the challenge that tested their faith? The wind howled gently, swirling around the villagers like an ancient song. They stood before the illuminating figure, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of the moment. It felt as if time had slowed, each second stretching into infinity, allowing them to breathe in the divine energy that surrounded them. "Look within," the figure continued, its voice echoing like a gentle bell. "The light you seek is not distant. It dwells within your very essence. Each of you carries the spark of creation, the fire of divine love. When you join as one, you amplify that light." Mary felt the truth of those words resonate deep within her. Closing her eyes, she focused on her heart, feeling it swell with warmth. As she did, those around her began to mirror her movements, creating a ripple of connection. They breathed in unison. Together, they became one great tapestry woven with threads of faith, hope, and love. "Now," the figure instructed, "let your thoughts become prayers. Let your desires rise like incense to the heavens." The villagers began to vocalize their hopes, their dreams, and even their fears. It was a cathartic release, a pouring out of their souls into the open air. "We seek healing," a man cried. "We desire peace," shouted a woman. "Let love prevail," rang out another voice. With each prayer offered, the light flickered brighter, pushing back the encroaching darkness. As the voices intertwined, Mary felt an exhilarating wave of energy. It coursed through her veins, igniting a fire of purpose. Yes, "Let this be our supplication," she shouted, urging her neighbors to keep the faith alive in their hearts. "We are the light, the embodiment of His love. Let it shine." With renewed determination, they fixed their gaze upon the figure, the embodiment of promise and grace. "What must we say to break the chains of fear?" Mary implored, the urgency of the moment weighing heavily upon her. The figure's expression softened, a knowing smile gracing its features. "Speak boldly, for your words are the key. The darkness feeds on silence. Voicing your truth weakens its grip. Declare your faith. Let it be loud and proud." Mary raised her arms once more, strength surging through her spirit. "We are not afraid. We stand united as bearers of light," she proclaimed. The villagers echoed her declaration, their collective voice swelling to fill the meadow, resounding like thunder. "We are not afraid." The clouds above began to quiver, retreating under the weight of their proclamation. Each declaration was a stone cast into the waters of despair, creating ripples that spread far and wide, resonating in the very essence of creation. "Together, we surrender our doubt, our fear, and our darkness," shouted another villager, tears streaming down her cheeks. "In exchange, we ask for your guidance. Lead us." Light erupted from the hearts of the faithful, each flicker of belief driving the darkness further back. In that sacred moment, they were reminded of the power of community, the sacred synergy that exists when hearts align. Yet, even as the tide seemed to turn, shadows lingered, reluctant to disappear completely. Doubts still whispered in the corners of minds, reminding them of the challenges still ahead. Mary sensed the burden of uncertainty, for she too felt the weight of the shadows encroaching. The figure's eyes sparkled, drawing her attention. "Remember, hope is not void of challenges. It is the landscape of faith that strengthens your resolve. Trust in His plan and journey forth with an open heart." As the villagers settled into a moment of collective silence, waiting for a divine sense of direction, a soft glow began to emerge from the horizon. What lay beyond? Was it the dawn of a new understanding, or simply another challenge to embrace? The mystery hung thick in the air, pregnant with anticipation. In that mystical dawn, a single question lingered. What path would they choose now, and how would their united faith transform their journey ahead? As the first rays of dawn kissed the earth, Mary felt the weight of the moment settle upon her. Each villager stood, faces aglow with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. Here, in this sacred space, they had awakened a spirit of unity, a bond forged in the fires of doubt and hope. The figure's luminous presence shimmered, drawing their gazes like a lighthouse in the storm. "Now is the time to step into the light," the figure urged, its voice echoing through every heart that gathered there. "Your faith has been a catalyst for transformation. Embrace it." Mary's breath hitched in her throat, the charge of energy palpable. She turned to the villagers. "Can you feel it?" she asked, joy bubbling within her. "We are on the threshold of something glorious. One step, one voice, one heart can change everything." With an exuberant roar, the villagers raised their clasped hands to the heavens. "We are the light. We are the love," they chanted, each repetition echoing like a wave crashing against the shore, powerful and cleansing. The air vibrated with anticipation. The light danced like flickering fireflies on a summer's eve, luring them forward. In that moment, Mary knew that the collective strength of their faith had the power to not only face the darkness, but to dissolve it altogether. "Together," she urged, "let us invoke the healing that we long for, not only for us, but for all who suffer in silence." As the villagers joined hands and formed an unbreakable circle, the figure urged them to visualize the love and healing sending ripples across the land. Mary focused hard, drawing inspiration from the faces around her, each one a story of struggle, hope, and triumph. "See John healed, see Lily's brother lifted from pain, see Nathaniel emerging from the shadow," she implored, her heart soaring with purpose. Their collective visualization ignited a cascade of light, surging forth like a mighty river, a stream of pure divine energy flowing into every crack and crevice of the village. In this moment, they became conduits of love, creating waves of healing that reached far beyond their gathering. But as their visions flourished, so too did the clouds above, swirling ominously. The doubts that had crept in began to thicken the air, a stark reminder of the permanence of struggle. Mary felt her own heart race as the figure advised them. "Trust in the power of your voices. Share your stories, for they will lift you." Mary stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "Let us rise against doubt. Each story we share will become a stepping stone to stronger faith." She nodded to the elder, Ruth, who stood with eyes alive with emotion. "Ruth, share your journey and bring the light into the cracks of our collective soul." As Ruth stepped forward, she spoke with a voice rich with life experience. "I lost my husband, but in that pain, I found a strength I didn't know existed." Each tale that followed wove a beautiful tapestry of resilience, creating a radiant light that glimmered against the shadows. Mary's heart swelled with gratitude, resonating with the strength and vulnerability of each villager, an undeniable testimony that they were alive, they were together, and they were healing. Then Nathaniel stepped forward. "I have struggled with doubts. I have felt abandoned in my pain. Yet with each story I hear today, I find echoes of my own hope mingling with your faith." His voice quivered, but Mary noticed the steady gaze now anchoring him. "What if there is healing even amidst the shadows? What if my pain can bring me closer to the light?" The crowd erupted, voice upon voice, fueled by love. "Yes, you are not alone. Together, we journey towards healing." They rallied, their unity a profound light dispelling the darkness. Mary looked to the figure, heart overflowing. "What more must we do to forge our path forward?" she asked, longing for guidance. "Continue to shine through the storms. It is in the depths of trials that the strongest light arises," the figure replied, imbued with peace. "Embrace the unknown, and trust that each step is guided." In one harmonious heartbeat, the villagers felt the presence of divine energy surge through them, a warmth that spread like wildfire across their hearts. The clouds above, sensing the unity of their spirits, began to dissipate, revealing a clear sky painted with hues of hope. Yet, as Mary absorbed the miracle unfolding, she realized the journey was far from over. A new clarity washed over her. This isn't just about healing our own hearts, it's about spreading this love beyond, she declared with newfound vigor. We must carry this light to those who suffer outside these walls, the lost souls waiting for hope. With more fervor than ever, the villagers nodded in agreement. "Let's go forth as bearers of hope," they cried in unison. Hand in hand, they stepped forward, embracing the unknown. The spirit of divine magnetism enveloped them, drawing them together in ways they never imagined. They became an unstoppable force, stepping out of the meadow, ready to share their light with the world. Was their journey perfect? No. But in their imperfections lay the beauty of growth and transformation, the very essence of faith itself. The power of vulnerability, the space of love, the whispers of miracles awaited them. United in purpose, they walked toward the horizon, hearts filled with expectancy. They had awakened a force of faith that transcended mere words, a bright manifestation that cascaded blessings wherever they would tread. And with every step they took, they echoed a truth deep within, that miracles unfold when hearts unite and embrace their divine magnetism. As the sun cascaded upon them, they felt in every fiber of their being that something miraculous was just beginning. Now, brothers and sisters in faith, it is your moment to act. Don't wait even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel. so you won't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will uplift your spirit. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and spread this powerful message far and wide. Comment your thoughts and testimonies about the ending. Let your voice join our united song of faith. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. You know who they are. Only true servants of God understand the importance of these actions.